Cool. So next, what we're going to be doing is adding some power to these. I'm also just before that, let me just kind of bring this down slightly, the background. Let's create an HSV. I'm just gonna bring this down a bit, 0.6, and the saturation 0.9, just so it's not as strong. It's kind of strong, maybe 0.94, something like that. 0.9. Let's see. For now, I'm just gonna be working with 0.7, something like that. Okay. Just one final trick, one very small trick, just to have better integration between one thing and the other. Again, remember, this is not a compositing course. We're just having fun with cops by compositing this in cops so that you can be able to composite, quickly test out the composition of your own effects when you're working in Houdini. We're going a bit further than we would need to for that, but I think this is going to give us a better result, and the principles are pretty much the same if you decide to move on to an actual compositing software. The principles that we're working with here are exactly the same, so you feel if you start feel comfortable working with cops, you'll feel very comfortable working with pretty much any compositing software because the principles are all the same. So the trick that I'm gonna be using is, let's say we combine one thing, the Iron Man on the background, and we see we kind of have, it's kind of matching because of the values that we have here on the lighting and the reflection. These are kind of making things blend better than if we didn't have that. Remember, this is just the raw render, so that would be kind of wouldn't be as interesting. Okay, it would be a harder match. But another thing we can do, and this is kind of a dirty trick, but it's going to help us get this a nicer look, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer, and this is going to be the background, and this is going to be the foreground. And instead of using an over, we'll be using an add, and we'll just play with this. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a foreground slider, so it's actually a background slider, so we'll have to switch these two. Just press Shift R, and you get the effect that we want. So if we put this at 0, then it's exactly the same as we had before. But if you start playing with this, you can add a bit of the environment tint to your compositing. It's just going to be a very small 0.005. But you'll notice the difference between having this or having this. So we have a slight tint that helps kind of bring everything together. We can even maybe go to 0.01, something like this. Yeah, I think this is between this and this is it's going to be a better match. Okay, and this is on top of this that we're going to be adding the rest of the effects.